Okay, I think to be courteous of everyone's time, we can go ahead and get started. This meeting will be recorded and it will be put into our Oregon buys after it's ran through our OHCSPIO. And recording.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Good afternoon, everyone. We're delighted that you could join OHCS for information about request for application 9305. My name is Susan Roman. I'm the Flex Lending Business Development Representative, and I'll be presenting this afternoon. OHCS is unveiling a replacement for Flex Lending's former RFA number 7385. We're joined by Joshua Ratcliffe, who you just heard from, OHCS Procurement and Contracts Specialist, along with Angelica Jimenez, Flex Lending Loan Specialist. Now, both of these individuals are actively involved in handling new lender requests for application, and they serve as single points of contact at different times in the life of a Flex Lending lender application. And I'll explain a little more about that later in our discussion. We thought that you'd like to know that this webinar, as Joshua said, is being recorded and transcribed. The presentation is going to be posted on the Home Ownership Technical Advisories News and Updates page. We hope that you'll have questions for us or comments, and if you do, please post those into the chat. If we're unable to answer everything today because we do have limited time, we will be sure to not only post all the questions, but the responses in Oregon Buys. And we ask that you remain muted because it helps all of us hear a little better. The Flex Lending team is led by Scott Shaw, who is here with us today. Christina, Angelica, Julie, and me. We are the Flex Lending team, and we can be reached at the team email address that is shown here on the right side. You can ask us anything you'd like to about the Flex Lending program or the loan products via this email address. We monitor this box and we'll get to your inquiries as soon as possible. You can also find us on the web, and there's the link to the Flex Lending program. We think that Flex Lending is a success when we can provide additional pathways to help lower income Oregonians have stable and affordable home ownership. This means that when we can focus on underserved and rural communities and help more low to moderate income borrowers realize the dream of home ownership, our neighborhoods all become stronger, our communities more vibrant, and Oregon as a whole a much better place. Because Flex Lending is exclusive to Oregon, our loan products are available only through OHCS-approved mortgage lenders with a presence in the state. These organizations must be licensed in Oregon, and originators must physically be located here or within 50 miles of the border. Additionally, approved lenders must fund and service their loans, including any down payment assistance seconds until they are purchased by the OHCS master servicer. Each approved lender is expected to meet annual loan purchase volume requirements. The number of purchases necessary is dependent upon the number of eligible Oregon loan officers the organization has on staff. Lenders must also meet pull-through requirements, which is determined by the number of locks secured versus the number of loans purchased. Having said this, we're excited to discuss more about the new and improved RFA. Our goal is to see more lenders become part of the Flex Lending action, so why don't we jump in? The schedule for RFA 9305, as you know, is underway. and there are only a few dates to keep in mind. The notice went out on Oregon Buys June 24th. Today, we're discussing the pre-application process, and July 7th marks the first day we'll accept new lender applications. So as we move on from here, let's
APS is
learn
back.
about some enhancements to the lender application process.
Yeah.
I think if you could put yourself on mute, it'll help us all hear better. Thanks so much. We're really pleased to share that lenders interested in partnering with OHCS Flex Lending can now use a newly updated and more streamlined application. It's designed to be easier to follow and to make Flex Lending available to more lenders. Now, besides using clearer language in the application and the agreement documents, we've eliminated or scaled back certain requirements and provided alternatives for others. For example, we lifted the requirement for lenders to be issuers and seller servicers. By implementing revisions like this, more lenders will be able to participate in Flex Lending, which in turn will increase access to home ownership for lower income Oregonians. You might want to note here that RFA 9305 replaces the current 7385. So lenders who are currently approved under 7385 will transfer over to 9305, and there will be an agreement to sign to make that happen. There are a few housekeeping things to think about before applying. First, the application has to be complete. And this means that every required document and every question has to be finished before it's turned in. If something's missing, we won't be able to review it. Next, please be sure to follow all of the instructions and the accompanying checklist. The steps are there to help you. One important detail we want you to know about is that the lending organization's authorized representative must execute the documents. If there are any questions along the way, please contact the single point of contact or the SPC. Don't reach out to other state employees or officials about this RFA because they aren't allowed to discuss it. And again, as I said, if an application is incomplete, unfortunately, we'll have to deny it, but that doesn't mean you're out of options. You're most welcome to fix what's missing and apply again. The OHCS accounts receivable team will be the folks accepting your organization's application fee via electronic check or credit card through Access.gov. And this is OHCS's safe and secure payment portal. An invoice and a link will be provided. Then payment should be included as part of the application package submission. Future annual renewal fees will be paid the same way. And again, please be sure to reach out with any questions you might have about this. Finally, once a lender has all the information and documentation necessary ahead of making the formal application, the next step is to visit the Oregon Buys website to begin the online process. There's information about this found within the RFA document. You can look for section 4, and of course, additional assistance can always be obtained by email or telephone. To recap the RFA process, lender makes the application via electronic submission. The OHCS procurement staff will look to ensure that all the requested documents and checklist items have been received. And if everything's in order, the file will be forwarded to the Flex Lending team's single point of contact, who is Angelica. If not, the lender will be advised that the package can't be reviewed. Now, Angelica's tasks include a deep dive into the application package, and then she convenes the Flex Lending panel to evaluate and grade based on requirements. Either a pass or a fail recommendation will result, and afterward, recommendation for approval or denial will be announced to the lender. And while we're talking about single points of contact or SPCs, here's some important information to note. Joshua Ratcliffe is our procurement and contract specialist at OHCS. He is the first SPC. You can count on Joshua to point you in the right direction if you need any submission guidance. We've listed Joshua's email here, and it's also included in the RFA documents. You'll see the email address to which the completed applications must be delivered. Using this address ensures the appropriate staff receive the request. Once the application package has been accepted, it's forwarded by procurement to the Flex team, as I mentioned, and the second single point of contact, Angelica Jimenez, will step in. She'll reach out directly to inform the applicant that Flex Lending is in receipt of the request, and then Angelica will move through the Flex Lending approval process. Now, let's take a few minutes to look at where Flex Lending's been and where we're going. It's really nice to have this opportunity to share with you a little history of the Flex Lending program. If you don't already know, almost 50 years ago, the Oregon Bond residential program was introduced. It was a really great way for first-time homebuyers with lower incomes realize their home ownership dreams. And the program went unchanged for a long time, all the way to 2023. And then just over 3 years ago in March, the program was revamped and Flex Lending was born. And what made it so special is that it was designed not only to not be constrained by IRS bond limitations. In essence, this allowed us to begin helping more people to buy their own homes by accessing the private marketplace where there's no limitation on volume. And as you might imagine, this combined with the brand new first home loan product caused Flex Lending to absolutely explode. OHCS became the only FHA in the country to offer this exact model for borrowers. And so in spring of last year, the legacy Oregon Bond program transitioned out. And while this marked the end of a homeownership era at OHCS, we haven't looked back. Flex Lending continues to set records because the news is out. OHCS is the place for Oregon mortgage lenders to get next generation low to moderate income loan products for their borrowers. And this is evidenced by the consistent and I would say measured impact that Flex Lending is making. By fostering deep partnerships with our approved lender partners, the results really do speak volumes. We ended 2025 with 34 approved lender partners and 9 pending applications while having trained just over 3,200 loan professionals. By transitioning from a single loan product to an overarching program, we've been able to serve more than 1,100 borrowers to purchase almost 1,000 homes last year. And on a side note, this, in turn, opened much needed affordable rental units in an already tight housing market, allowing other lower income renters to fill those vacancies and have their housing needs met as well. And before we go on to the next page, I'd like to just mention that Flex Lending down payment assistance meant that 557 Oregon families received the help they needed to get to the closing table last year. The average DPA unit was just over $13,500 and amounted to $7.5 million total. Now we're going to move into mortgage loan product types that are offered by OHCS. You can think of Flex Lending as an umbrella, and underneath there are different loan products with some similarities, but each with unique nuances. First Home is our highly popular IRS qualifying product. Borrowers can opt to have DPA or not. And Next Step is another super option. This one comes as a package deal, always combined with down payment assistance, and only the borrowers on the loan are qualified, rather than using the additional household income calculations as required for First Home. And while we're talking about down payment assistance, Flex Lending offers 2 kinds. One is the standard 4% of the total first mortgage note amount and focused demographics for which the borrower must be eligible at 5%. You may want to know that the Flex Lending team has a dedicated training staff who work closely with our approved lenders statewide. Our goal is to ensure that every loan professional we work with has the knowledge and the confidence to offer Flex Lending loan products to potential home buyers. And to support this, we provide multiple live online trainings every month. These sessions walk lenders through the Flex loan origination process. We give them space to ask questions about qualifying, underwriting, funding, and so many other affordable lending complexities. We do everything we can to equip our partners so that they can in turn help more lower income Oregonians achieve homeownership. And we also extend our outreach beyond lenders by participating with government leaders, key officials, community groups, and nonprofits, which also include OHCS approved home ownership centers. All of this to help broaden the awareness of Flex Lending. We love to celebrate our Flex lenders. Onboarding kickoffs include a first meeting with upper and middle management and might include sales, operations, product development, and production teams. This is when we personally welcome them to OHCS. We define the Flex Lending expectations, training, production standards, high-level product information, and social media partnering. We also include, just so you know, borrower success stories with loan officer spotlights. We love to do that. So part of the reason that we're so excited about this new RFA is that it incorporates a new way of partnering with our approved lenders. After the lender launches Flex Lending, our team hosts multiple follow-up events, activities, and we meet with lender partners at scheduled intervals throughout the year. Our goal isn't only training and outreach, but we like to assist in building lender capacity statewide. And we think that when lenders are empowered, they can serve even more lower income clients in achieving homeownership. And this makes, as I mentioned before, Oregon a much better place. So as we wrap up this presentation, we'd like to thank you for your time today. Our goal was to give you a clear understanding of the exciting changes that we're making to the Flex Lending lender application process, and we certainly appreciate your participation as we move forward in further shaping a lending program that keeps viable loan products available for more Oregonians. This concludes our presentation, and as always, we do appreciate your partnership. Now we can begin addressing your questions and comments.
Susan, we do have some questions in the chat. Adam is asking, when will the new application be available to start filling out and submit? On the 7th? And is there a full list of needed items to send along with the application? Yes, the applications will be available for submission on July 7th. It looks like Joshua responded and he added that it will open at 9 a.m. And
okay,
yes,
so we can't fill
be...
it. Okay, so we can't fill it out ahead of time. In other words, just wait till the 7th. Okay.
Joshua, will the application be available to view prior to that date, or is it loaded on the website at that time? You're on mute.
On mute. The full application package is available currently on Oregon Buys, and yeah, you don't have to hesitate to fill that out.
Okay.
But they will not be able to submit until the 7th at 9 a.m.
And if we have trouble with the Oregon Buys, like we registered, so we should be all set. Would I contact you or Angelique or either?
Yeah, with Oregon Buys, contact me.
Okay.
Submission issues, anything like that, that would be me.
And
Thank
if you
you.
have questions about Flex Lending in itself, the program or the products, you'd like to know more, specifics about what we do at Flex Lending, reach out to us on the Flex Lending team and we'll answer you directly. We can set up a call too.
Yes, I have added some email addresses and contact information throughout the chat. So if you want to scroll back, Adam, I know you know how to get a hold of me. We've chatted throughout this process as well. So the next question is, let's see here.
I think
David,
Darla
hi,
asked
David.
a question too, Angelica.
Did I miss it? I'm sorry.
She says that it's not licensed, but licensed and living in the state or within 50 miles, correct? Would you like to answer that one, Angelica?
Sure. Sorry about that, Darla. I completely skipped over that. So licensed, so you have to be licensed in the state of Oregon. You don't have to live in the state, but the loan officers, origination team will need to be within 50 miles of the Oregon border.
So in the state or within 50 miles of the border in order to originate Flex Lending loans as a loan officer and your processors, processing assistants, loan officer assistants, everybody needs to have an Oregon presence or be within 50 miles of the border.
So then if I can just get a little bit of clarification on that so that is what you're basing the minimum production on too. So if I have somebody in Texas who is licensed in Oregon, that person is not part of what you're basing your minimum production on, right?
That is correct. And we refer
Perfect.
to it as purchase requirements because it's ultimately what is purchased by the master servicer. So
Got it.
the state operates a little bit differently that way, but yes, you have
Perfect.
to be
Thanks.
in Oregon or within 50 miles. Such a good
Thank you so
question,
much.
Darla. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darla. Okay, moving on. David, thank you. Happy to see you here. David asks, what are the approval timeframes? Joshua, can you provide some insight on that since the process is changing?
Yes, I'll try to speak to that. So approval timelines are really based on when you get your completed applications through the review process. So that's step one. So once we get that through and approved, depending on volume of applications that come through at one time, can make an impact on given an exact time frame from approval to an agreement. However, we will work diligently to get from approval to that agreement. I hope that's
And same
sufficient.
thing on the Flex Lending side. It's going to go through Joshua and his team. They're going to be looking for document execution. Are all the things there that are supposed to be there? Is the package in the right order? Has the fee been paid? And then once all of those things have been approved and checked off, it moves to the Flex Lending team where Angelica will have access now to the whole file and will really dig in and look at the documents. And she's the one that appoints the panel at Flex Lending. And we sit down and go through all the documents, verify that the information is there and correct and adequate, and then we determine eligibility for approval. Hope that helps.
Yeah, so sorry, David, we can't give you a firm 30 days or whatever the time frame might be. It really is going to vary between application package to from one to the other.
It's not uncommon. Would you say, Angelica, it can be 30 days. It could be 45 days. Maybe it's faster than that. It really depends on the volume that we have.
The volume and again, yeah, the
contents of the package.
Right.
The quality.
Exactly.
You can say it, the quality.
There you go, Adam. Yeah. All right. So next we have so Lloyd, my good friend Lloyd. We've worked together for several years throughout these processes. Lloyd is asking if the new application process is already in place. So as I think he asked this before it was answered, but yes, it will be open for application submission on the 7th. And as Joshua mentioned, you can start taking a look at the application package in Oregon Buys, and I'll throw in that web address and email address in the chat here shortly. But for everyone that received the notification to be here today, the contact information is there as well. And if you're not set up to receive those, then I can throw that information in the chat as well, so you can sign up for that. Next. Oh, and thank you, Lloyd.
Can I just say to you, Angelica, sorry for butting in, but Lloyd, if you want to have a call, we're happy to have one.
Absolutely. And I think everyone knows we're always happy to get on the phone with anyone that needs to. Terry, thank you. Another good one. Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Her question is around registering as a supplier on the site. Terry, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, and it might be my ineptitude at this stuff, but I went on the site, and first of all, it was like I wasn't sure if we were supposed to register as a new supplier, because obviously we've been with you all for a while. And then it also had a place on there where it said continue with your in process registration, and I didn't know complete your in progress supplier registration. And on that one, it asks for a supplier ID. And I wasn't sure, where are we supposed to, which one are we supposed to use?
I can try
I don't
to
have
help.
I don't have a supplier ID, so I don't know.
I could try to help with that. It sounds like at one point the registration was started, and you're probably going to either, well, one, you always have to apply as a new supplier. So that's
Okay.
if you're registering to Oregon Buys, you're going to be a new supplier. And if you're kind of hung up in the system, which it sounds like you are, there's a help link for Oregon
Okay.
Buys on the slide deck. I think we can probably pop it in the chat too, maybe, if we can
Okay.
find that, Susan or Angelica. And I would contact them immediately and just get that sorted out. That's my recommendation there. When it comes to Oregon Buys, don't hesitate to call the help desk. It's
Okay.
sometimes a bear.
And is that going to be just for the application piece of it, or because we have different departments, of course, that handle different things, and I only handle the applications and the front end piece of it. I won't be handling any of the loans, and I don't want to mess up other people if they're supposed to be registering for other purposes.
Yeah, so the main purpose of Oregon Buys is really, that's our CRM for the most part. So all of our information is going to go in there. So once you register, then all of your documents will also connect within that. So any agreements, future agreements, amendments will then kind of be in your little CRM file within Oregon Buys. So that's why it's important to register with Oregon Buys
Okay.
as that supplier or a new vendor. And that's just kind of the reasoning behind that.
Okay.
And you as a lender, Terry, you presumably would be the single point of contact for your organization. But if it's not you, that's okay too. We just need to know who that is.
Yeah, I am the single point of contact as it stands now, or have been in the past. And it's just as far as products and loan processing and things like that, I'm not involved in any of that. I'm involved only in the application piece, and I just didn't want to screw something else up for someone else.
You won't.
So, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And Angelica's already used to my ineptitude.
Well,
Oh, you're
know,
great. You're great. We're all learning. We're always learning.
That's right.
Adam, did you have something to add here?
Who gets that confirmation email? Is it the administrator that we put into Oregon Buys? Who gets that? Because I can't figure it out, and I'm thinking it must be my capital markets manager who got the confirmation email.
Yeah, it would be whomever's email got submitted at time of registry.
Adam, it's whoever you your organization appointed to be the email point of contact, single point of contact.
Wasn't it admin? Or is that just the portal when I put in the admin information? Is that
That is the lender online portal. That's the place where your loan staff is going to work their loans throughout the process. And if you are the website administrator, you are the one that is the gatekeeper for those user credentials. That's a different thing.
I didn't get the email confirmation.
You may not if you aren't the single point of contact. The website administrator is different than the single point of contact at the lender's organization. So.
Oh, I got you.
I have
understand.
Two different responsibilities.
I know who it is.
That kind of helps me with my question, because that's kind of where I was going with the registration. For the single point of contact, can that be an email box, or does it have to be a person?
It should be a person, right, Angelica?
Okay.
Yeah, it'll need to be a person. So Terry most likely will be in contact. So you'll submit your application through the Oregon Buys, and then someone from from procurement, so on Joshua's team or Joshua himself, he will be the single point of contact for our procurement team. And that'll be the first point of contact, as Susan said early in the presentation. Then once they make sure that everything is in before it moves on in the process over to me. And then I will be the flex single point of contact. Okay. So you and I will then work closer again. And at that point,
we've established an email box for our particular team, which is only like 2 people, but I think it'll be easier if we just continue on the way we have been for now.
I don't think that there's any issue if you'd like to add a second email address, like an admin box. That way, if you're sick or away, then somebody gets the emails.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Such good questions. What else do we have?
Let's see, the next one. Yeah, so I think that's it, unless anyone else has any other questions. So if we have additional questions about the process, please let us know. Procurement, Joshua will be your single point of contact. He'll make sure that the application package is complete before it reaches me. And then I'll get it set up for evaluation with, there are 3 of us on the team that will do the evaluation. And at that, we'll be able to determine if it's a pass or fail and let you know, and hopefully welcome you as a flex lender.
And again, if something goes wrong and you don't have everything that Joshua needs in that package to get it moved over to Angelica here on the flex team, he will let you know, and you are so welcome to do it again. No problem. So I think that's going to wrap it up.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end recording. Thank you very much for your all's time.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.